Okay, ladies and gentlemen, OldSchoolCube again, Black Set review. So we're gonna start with a Legends cards, and we better read it on the Oracle text. But this is essentially Living End in 1993 version. So basically, you suspend it with two scream counters on it. It's kind of suspend mechanic. You exile one counter versus every upkeep, or remove one counter every upkeep. If there's no more stream counters on it, put it into a graveyard, and each player returns all creature cards from that graveyard to the battlefield. So the idea here is that you have the big creatures, and then you're gonna go living end and then get back some Lord of the Pits or bigger creatures than your opponent and finish up the game this way. And we're gonna see there's like plenty of very good creature to reanimate. So yeah. And speaking of reanimation, animate that another one of those cards. So basically this is an aura, one in a black. It reanimates a card in your graveyard and gets -1 power. But otherwise, as long as animate that is on it, the creature is on the battlefield. Very powerful card. So these kind of three cards are part of the reanimation package, what we can do with Resurrect, and then yeah, that's kind of the base of the deck. Ashes to Ashes. So this is an awesome removal in limited. It's one black, and it basically exiles two non-artifact creature and deals 5 to you, which is not that much for that problem. Like removing two very good creature and taking 5, you would probably take more damage from those creatures. So yeah, it's 2 for 1 exiles, so checks out of boxes. Awesome limited card. Bad Moon, so this is Crusade for black, so it's one and a black, and all black creatures in play gain +1/+1, so it's a symmetric, notable. But yeah, if you are a black based aggro deck, then this is the creature for it. Also the enchantment for it. And Black Knights, so it's a black 2/2 protection from white and first strike, good card. Yeah, it would be even solid today. It absolutely is. They had weaker versions of this in Dominaria, or Return to Dominaria, the first modern Dominaria set, and that card was still very good. Bograts, so it's a 1 mana 1/1, cannot be blocked by walls. So yeah, that's not nothing. Then Carrion Ant, so it's 4 mana 0/1, which is not that impressive, but for a colorless, it can get +1/+1 until end of turn. So thinking about threat of pump, like this is the card for it. Like if you chunk in, they can't really block it unless they have a kill spell, because you can spend virtually any amount of mana. Minimum becomes a 4/5 because you had 4 mana when you cast it, and then potentially a 5/5 when it attacks, or 5/6 rather. Yeah, I think this one is a powerful card. Kumbaj, which is very good against Carrion, surprisingly. It's a black witch 1/3, so it's already a good blocker, and you can tap it and deal 1 damage to any target and 1 damage to you. Yeah, also the opponent may do 1 damage to any target, and that's why it's conveniently a 1/3, so they can just ping it down. And it's very good at occasionally playing Carrion. Like you want this card in a package where you don't have too many X1s, and then you're not gonna get punished by your opponent's creatures. Otherwise, it just pings them, or pings their X1s down again. Cyclopean Mummy, sorry, it's one in a black for a 2/1. This is actually a zombie. If it placed in the graveyard, remove it from the game. Yeah, it's an aggressive 2/1 for 2. Like it's a 1 in limited creature if you're an aggressive deck. Dark Ritual, so it's 1 mana, add 3 black mana to your mana pool. So people would think that this card is not really good in limited because you add the mana and then it's gone. You lost the card on it. So kind of 2 for 1ing yourself. But even in old school, you can use it with Hypnotic Spectre, and that can take over the game. And believe me, if this card was printed in any of today's modern limited environment, this would be absolutely broken. Because like getting to 3 mana on turn 1 on the play, dropping a 3 drop is unbelievable. Like given the power level of the creatures today. And still in old school, you can do a lot of cool things. Also, you can ramp yourself up on turn 3. You can cast a 5 drop. So there's play for this card here. So yeah, demonic horde. So instead of 5/5 4 6, it's a demon. And then tap to destroy one land and pay black in your upkeep. Otherwise, it becomes tapped and your opponent can choose a land when they destroy. So you really want to make sure that you have the mana for it, but otherwise it's a 5/5, which is a massive creature, and it destroys that land. And we're gonna see some of the utility lands, so this is actually an effect which is not nothing in this format. You kind of want to look out for it and then be able to destroy those things. Demonic Tutor. So yeah, this is Demonic Tutor. Not much to talk about it. Commander, Vintage, every format All Star. It's a one and a black sorcery. You can search your library for any card and then shuffle. So this is second copy of your best card. And if you already draw the best card, then you're happy already. If not, then this finds it for you. Drain Knife. So one and a black, and it deals one damage to a single target for each black spent in addition to its casting cost. So it's technically two and X, and then if you spend black mana as X, then basically it deals X damage and you gain that much life. Very, very powerful. So this is black fireball. Yeah, and what is this? It's also with the live game, so that's tremendously useful in limited format. Earth Raiders, it's a 2/3 for 2, so very very good stat line. And then if you don't attack with it, they do 2 damage to you in this turn. Yeah, and then obviously when it came in, that doesn't apply, so they try to mitigate that fact that it doesn't have haste. But the next turn it starts clunking in it. 2/3 body pretty good. So you can go to combat with this. I think this is a very, very good little aggressive card. Another very good aggressive card is Fallen Angel, which is a 5 mana 3/3 flyer, which is already in limited format good on rate, and you can sacrifice a creature to give it +2/+1 until end of turn, which is very, very good. Once you are the aggressive player, you put them down on life, and this is a card which can finish 10 life off in like 2 attacks. So yeah, it's a very solid card. Frankenstein monster. So it's a 0/1 for 2 and X. So black, black, and X. But essentially, what's happening here that you can distribute +1/+1, +2/+0, and +0/+2 counters. Very, very weird. But essentially, what you do that for every mana what you spend in X, you get one like 2 points of stats which you can allocate either to power or toughness or split between, so +1/+1 counters. Yeah, so the cool thing about this card that it grows with the game, and there's plenty of way to create additional mana in this format, so this can come down and become like a very very large creature. Yeah, and also on the other hand, this is a late game card because you do need to exile X creature cards from your graveyard, and X is equal to the number you cast it for. So for 7 mana, you get a 5/5. For 8 mana, you get a 6/6. And then you do need to exile a lot of creatures. Yeah, it's an interesting card. It does scale with the game somewhat, so there's that. Going for it. Yeah, we'll see how it functions in the limited format. Maybe it's a bust, but maybe it's a boom. Greed. So that one's a very good card, I think, in a limited format. So this is 3 and a black enchantment, and then for black you can draw an extra card and then pay 2 life. Yeah, so not much to dislike here. This is card advantage in black. What you want to look out for that how can you maybe gain life back. But greed is good, as Gordon Gecko said it, and steering shoot today. This card is very, very good in constructed. I think this is equally good in limited. Hastronograph. This is another good aggressive card. It's black black for the 3/2, and um, yeah, so you have to pay like 2 mana when it attacks, otherwise it deals symmetrically 3 damage to you. But I think this is just so aggressive that if you start on with a good black aggressive deck, then you don't really mind, just not playing it and just chunking your opponent down. Plus, like, black is the color with the drain life, so there's something to like about that too. Yeah, I think this card is solid. House Caretaker. So it's a 1 mana, so it's a 4 mana 1/1, which is not very impressive. But you can tap it during your upkeep, sacrifice a creature, and take a creature from your graveyard and put it to play. So yeah, so this is your reanimation spell again. This is the fourth one. So I think the archetype is fairly well supported in that regard. That you can sack a small creature and get back like a Lord of the Pit. So yeah, there you go. Half from Beyond. X on a black, target creature gains X +X+0 until end of turn. This is your black fireball. Your unblocked creature gets a a big pump, and then hopefully that's enough to finish off your opponent. Hypnotic Spectre. So this card is unreal. Like this is the classic combo Dark Ritual into Hypnotic Spectre. This ruins a lot of games of Magic. So this is a 2/2 flyer for 3, which is already, Wind Drake category good. And when it damages your opponent, they discard a card at random. So there's so many times in old school games where they needed a land, and then they randomly discard that land and they gonna get host for another 2-3 turn, which in those turns Hypnotic Spectre will empty their hand. Like if you turn one hippie and hit your opponent 2 or 3 times, like the game is over. Like I think even a first hit it can ruin their hand completely. But if you hit like twice, then yeah, like you are very very much up on every resource at that point, and the randomness is truly killing this. So Imprison, this is an aura for a black, and then yeah, pay 1 life each time a creature tries to attack, block, or tap, and then that action is prevented, and the creature becomes tapped. So that means that it's an activated ability. So when they try to attack, block, or activate the ability of the creature, you can pay 1, tap the creature, and nothing happens. So this is kind of like a pacifism in black. I think it's a very very strong removal. You do need to leave up a mana to activate it whenever there's an action. But yeah, with that being said, like this is awesome. This is like Sword to Plowshares level 1. Junoon Efreet. So this is a 3/3 flyer for 3, which is unbelievable. And you must pay black black during your upkeep, or otherwise it's destroyed. Yeah, so that's kind of the punishing tux here. But again, like it's flies through, hits very very hard. It's a kind of Mantis Rider level card in this format. Doesn't have haste though, but you get the idea. Like this is, if they can deal with it, they're gonna eat a lot of damage from it. Kabagu. So this is a zombie. It's not a ghoul. It says on the card, but it's a zombie. It got errated. So it's a 3 mana, 2 and a black. At the end of each turn, put a +1/+1 counter on Kabagu for each other creature that died during the turn and was not regenerated. So if you have anything like a board wipe and you cast the board wipe, cast this after that, it gets the counters. So if you kill 6 creature, this comes in as like a 3 mana 7/7. Turbo worth, ladies and gentlemen. It already existed in 1993. The Lord of the Pits. So this is the famous Lord of the Pits. This is an iconic magic card from the early days, and this is one of your prime reanimation target. So this is 4 black 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 for a demon, 7/7 flying trample. Not much more to ask. And then every upkeep you do need to sacrifice a creature, otherwise this deals 7 damage to you. And yeah, but you can still attack with it, so it's not tapping it and deals damage. You still get the attack. It's just it's just very angry that it wasn't fed properly and lashes out to everyone essentially. But yeah, one of the most powerful creature on that line in Magic early days. Mind Twist. It's an X and a black, and the opponent discard X cards at random. Like the random on these things are like unbelievable. So yeah, like Dark Ritual into Mind Twist is another thing, or like Land Black Lotus Mind Twist. That's like a 3/4/2, but the randomness of it is so detrimental to your opponent. And if you have obvious like like 5 mana, they have like 3 cards in hand, you just take that hand. So yeah, very 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 strong card. There's a reason why you don't see this printed. It ruins a lot of games. So yeah, Nerling Imp. So this is a 1/1 for 3, and then basically it goes your opponent's creatures. So yeah, and if it cannot attack for whatever reason, then it destroys at the end of the combat. And yeah, and also like this cannot target wars. So obviously, because I would be easily killing the wars, that would feel unfair. But any other creature, you can go them, run into your creatures and eat them up. So there you go. Very very solid card. Oubliette. So it's a 3 mana enchantment, and this is essentially Oblivion Ring. Like I need to read the text on it, but this is the black Oblivion Ring. Yeah, target creature. It's only creature though, not every permanent, and it says phases out. Yeah, and then yeah, essentially this kind of Oblivion Ring. So yeah, until this enchantment leaves the battlefield. Yeah, so it doesn't have the 2 trigger. Um, and it fades it, so the auras go with it, they don't fall off. But mostly plays like an Oblivion Ring. Very, very powerful card, kind of unconditional removal, which is always good in a limited format. Paralyze, so it's a black target creature is not untapped as normal during untap phase, and you need to spend 4 mana to untap it, which is a lot. Like, I mean, we see this card now in Target Dragonstorm, it's like 5 mana to untap it, and it's kind of good. Yeah, so this is the old school version. See where these ideas, everything existed. What is this, 1993? There's nothing new under the sun. Pestilence, yeah, so this is another card which can ruin a lot of limited formats. Again, they don't print this card anymore in limited sets for good reason. So this is 2 black for an enchantment, and you can spend the black to 1 damage to each creature and both players. And at the end of the turn, if there's no creatures left in play, then this is destroyed. So the joke here that you have a high toughness creature or something which has protection from black, and then you just basically kill everything else on the board, and that creature doesn't get the damage or survives, so you can keep going. Whatever your opponent plays to the board, you just die, and it also kills your opponent too, right? So yeah, so there are those. Raise that. It's 1 mana, return target creature from your graveyard to your hand. Yeah, I mean, excellent stuff. Yeah, so you can get back your best creature. Royal Assassin, so it's a 3 mana, tap to destroy an untapped creature, and it's a 1/1. Yeah, so this is, if you have any way, like a twiddle or some way to tap down your opponent's creatures, this is the way to finish them off. Obviously, if they already attacked, so this is kind of pretty detrimental for them. Prevent a lot of attacks from happening. Yeah, solid card. It's one of the better cards, and it's rare for good reason. Sanger Vampire, so this used to be one of the premium cards in old school. It's a 5 mana 4/4 flyer like Sarah Angel, and then it gets +1/+1 each time a creature dies during the turn which the vampire damaged it. So if it eats up something, it grows stronger, really. And at one point they do need to block, potentially smaller flyers, so they just get better and better. Yeah, it's like a very, very flavorful design and one of the better cards in both limited and constructed, to be honest, in the old school realm. Simian's Night Stalker. So this is a 5 mana 4/4, and for black and a tap, redirect all damage done to you from one attacking creature to this one. Yeah, soaks up some damage. So that's not nothing. Yeah, I think I'm in on this card. Like, it's a solid body, and then has some utility to it. Yeah, good stuff. Sinkhole is black, destroy anyone. And so this is a common, believe it or not. This is actually banned in proper because it's so ridiculous. Like, this would be unbelievable if this card was legal in proper. Already black pawns attacks are good in proper from time to time. Maybe not right now, but they do show up occasionally. This card would be unreal in the deck. And then here, like, you can color screw your opponent, you can set them back a turn if you are aggressive. So there's a lot to like here with Cinco. Cinco combined with Strip Mine is very, very strong black base deck in old school formats. Stone Throwing Devil, another yeah, controversial card, and yeah, it was, I think, banned by Wizards in a lot of formats. So again, if anyone feels uncomfortable with this, then just let me know. We can pull this card. But otherwise, it's a 1 mana, one black mana, 1/1 with first strike. It's a good card. Terror. So it's a 1 and a black. It's kind of Doomblade. So destroy target creature. It can't regenerate, but it can't target artifact or black creatures, which is notable in this format. Because otherwise, like, yeah, like, it would just straight up be like almost what is this, an ultimate price or Doomblade ultimate price hybrid. It is a strong removal, but you want to watch out for those. The Abyss. This is an ancient word effect. Again, there's only one that could be in place, like Highlander. There can be only one. And 3 and a black. All players bury one target non-artifact creature under their control if they have any during their upkeep. So the joke here is that you play artifact creatures, and then they sacrifice every upkeep one of their creatures while you keep all of yours. and then yeah, and then eventually you beat them up that with that way. Transmutation. So it's one of the black. Until end of turn, target creature power and toughness are switched. Effect that alter power and alter toughness instead, and vice versa. So yeah, so like it's good against obviously zero power creatures because it just kills them. But you can also win a combat doing this, or like use it as a pseudo pump spell to kill your opponent. Yeah, that's an interesting card. There's a lot to like here, but you do need to find a spot. So Underworld Dreams. So this is also Dark Creature into Underworld Dreams is a very strong combo. This is an enchantment and it deals 1 damage to an opponent for each card they draw. So obviously it's a 20 turn clock by itself. It's probably, if the game goes to like 8 turn, this does another 8 damage if you run down from a Dark Ritual on turn 1. But also more importantly, if they are a blue deck and they draw extra cards, then they take the damage for those. It's very good with wheel effects because they take 7 when they draw the fast 7. So you get the idea. Yeah, that's how this Underworld Dreams is being played. Unholy Strengths, so target creature gain +2/+1. Solid stuff. Yeah, like it's very good in an aggressive deck. If you get one drop stone throwing devil, put it on them. Yeah, you just keep junking for like 9 to 12 damage with that vampire bat. So it's a 0/1 flying, and for a black mana, it gets +1/+0. And then obviously you can only spend like maximum 2 this way, but it is a flyer, so this can, like given the mana you can sink into it, this can put in like a substantial amount of damage for one drop. And then you can play that mana for installment, a flyer, hard to block. There's a number of things to like here. Walking Dead, so it's a 1/1 for one and a black, and it's a zombie actually. And for black, it does regenerate. Yeah, it's a very annoying creature. And it's also very good probably with on holy strengths or how from beyond or whatever, right? Like this makes those things like basically removals. Wall of Shadows, so it's a 3 mana 0/1 wall, which is not an impressive stat line. Um, yeah, but whenever it receives damage, that damage is from a creature, it reduces to 0. Yeah, and then things that target only walls cannot target this. Hmm. Yeah, we don't have too many of those things here floating around, so that's not that big of an issue. But it's a solid blocker, like basically blocks that Rex creature, takes 0, so it stays in the game. Very hard to kill with creatures, and because it's like a 0/1, you don't figure about wasting your removal on it. But if you want to get through, you probably kind of have to. Weakness. So yeah, so that's the unholy strength reverse. So it's -2, -1, and yeah, you can kill X1s with this, or like 2/2s become meaningless. Those kind of things. It's a removal. It's like dead weight from 1993. Below the Wisp. So this is a 1 mana 0/1 flying, and for black it does regenerate. It's also amazing in controlling decks because they just can't get through it, and then once again you turn the corner, gives you the time to turn the corner essentially. And if you have any way to augment it half from beyond again on holy strengths, you get like a 2/2 flyer for like on turn 2 which can regenerate. Well, that's pretty powerful actually. That's one way to win games in limited. And then last but not least, a Yawgmoth the Demon. So this is a 6 mana 6/6 flying first strike. And you may ask what's the catch, because there's gotta be a catch here. And the catch is that during your upkeep you have to sacrifice an artifact, otherwise it becomes tapped and deals 2 damage to you. So yeah, so you do need the artifact. But if you have like trinkets, acceleration out, like think about it. This if this hits them like twice, that's like 12 damage. If you hit them 3 times for whatever reason, that's like 18. That is alone enough to kill them. And then obviously you don't need that many hit. Usually, you already put them down to like 6 to 8, and then you just need to connect with it once, really. So yeah, powerful card, but you do wanna watch out your artifact count for this one. So that was black for you. So thanks a lot, and we're gonna move on with red. So see you there.